Welcome to Unconventionally Python. These presentations are about help and or solutions to selective assignments. The assignment is to write a program to draw those 6 points on the canvas, and I will represent them with this bigger one, the red, the green, and the blue dots, just to make it a little bit more visible and easy to see the dots. My suggested process to follow to help you come up with the Python program. I suggest that first you draw the canvas and the X and Y axis, like this one that you see here. So let's assume I want to draw a dot somewhere here. This is a point, and in order to draw a point on the canvas, I have to specify the location of the X and the location of the Y. So let's assume that this location here is at the pixels. I go from 0 to whatever is the size of the window. So let's assume, for the sake of argument, this is 50, and let's assume this is 20. The way to create this point is to write a program, and let's assume I will give this object a name, objp1, and that is a point. So now I'm typing the Python code in a sense, and that point is located, and the first argument here is the intersection of X. So in our example, that will be 50, and comma, that will be the location in relation to Y, and that will be 20. So when the system executes this command, will create this object, this point. Now, if you remember, we want to create the next point somewhere here, right? On the same line. So again, this has some coordinates. So if I go here, these coordinates, let's assume, are 80. And the coordinates to Y is still 20, right? So now if I want to write the code to draw that next red dot, the command will be, I'll have to give a name, let me call it objp2. That is also a point, and the coordinate for that is up here 80, and we see that the coordinates for Y is 20, and this second line now will create the next point. Let's try now following the same visualization technique to create the next 4 objects, the next 4 points. Again, to refresh our memory, the next 2 points, the second row, the first green will be below the red one, the right red one. The next green one will be to the right. Here we are again. So let's assume the next one has to be here. Again, we have to know the coordinates. We observe that the coordinates for this is x80, but the Y is, let's say, somewhere here, and let's assume this is 40. So I know I'm going to write the code, so I'm going to need another name for this object. I'll call it objp3, and that is a point, and that point is at the following coordinates. First is the X, which is 80. Next is Y, which is 40. And here I have my third Python statement to create the next one. The next one will be, let's say, somewhere here. Coordinates, let's assume it will be here. Let's assume this is 110. And this coordinate is 40 because it's on the same line. Another name that we need for that object, and that is a point. And the coordinate is 110. X goes first, and 40. In my opinion, relatively easy by having this drawing, visualizing what we try to do, we come up with the Python statements. With the same concept, that will be the blue one here. The coordinate, it's below the green, it's 110. The coordinate for that one, we'll assume will be, let's say, 60. We write the obj, it's a point, and the coordinates are 110 for x and 60 for y. Last but not least, this will be the next. The coordinate for that is x. Let's assume this is 140, and the coordinates for that y is 60, the same. One more object, let's call it 6. It is a point with coordinates 140 and 60. We have the bulk of the Python. We have to draw these objects. So we have to, for every object, it'll be JP1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We have to draw them besides creating them. So I will write it once and then you can adjust it. So either after you create the object, you draw the object. So it can be here, there, right? And every place I have this insertion line, and you type the name of the object you want to draw. Let's say objp1, the method.draw, and within the parentheses the name of you have given to the canvas, and let's say I name my window wn, will draw the objp1 object on the specified location 50 and 20. 50 is the pixels for the x-axis and 20 is the number of pixels for the y-axis. Again, we have to issue the same or a similar command for P2, P3, etc., and then here you have it, the solution. So my suggestion is, until you become comfortable and proficient, it will be much easier, I think, for you to draw the canvas and then put the objects that you wish, and then you specify. Visually, it will help you to see what will be the values for the x and y coordinates for the different objects. I hope that was helpful. Thank you for watching. See you soon.